dig.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Outlawed Thoughts. That was actually the wrong intro, but we're gonna roll with it. I had done one with music instead, but it is what it is. I see we lost Josh in that exchange. We'll add him back in here one moment when he pops back in. And Jay Priest is here. So, hello.
What up?
Hey.
Awesome. All right, I think we got everybody in here now. All right, so we got a bunch of random crap to talk about today, although it is going to be a little bit of a mashup show, because I was going to cover kind of one topic and make this kind of the LPNH show for the night, but there's a couple other topics we'll cover just in general. We're going to go ahead and do kind of react along to the is it? I can't remember her name now. Hannah Cox, the Hannah Cox and Brad Palumbo video, because that I have not watched it. I watched the first like 15 seconds of it, laughed for a couple minutes, and then paused it and stopped. So we'll go through that on the kind of live as we go along. I do have an actual show notes list this time, but unfortunately, because my computer updated, it closed the window that had the show notes open. So I'm bringing those back up because I have to bring up all those beautiful links separately now. Yeah, so it has been kind of crazy the last few weeks. Obviously, things look a little bit different. I am in a new apartment temporarily as I look for a new place on top of it. So I'm waiting patiently to get into a new place now, but for now, this is the temporary studio for all that we will be doing on the show. Yeah, it's been
Is that a family member on the Budweiser thing?
No, I have a bunch of these. There's a head shop in Seward that I like, and he used to sell them. I think they're great. They're hilarious. The one I have on the outside is black and white.
I'm just glad Tyler brought it up.
Yeah. I don't want CD to be offended.
Brad Palumbo disinvited himself from going to the Florida convention. Not sure why. He didn't explain.
Like us.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Super spreader.
he knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, he jumped
Dude.
in.
Can you imagine if he was there? Can you imagine if he showed up? Oh my God.
So Bishop made me laugh today. I felt like I was supposed to, like... It felt wrong. But he said something on Twitter earlier today about when people were going after that idiot with Dave and some guy on Twitter were talking about
Magnus.
Papa. Yeah. I don't know who that guy is. Everybody was like, "Oh, you don't know who that is?" And I'm like, "No. I have I've never heard that guy's name in my life, so I assume he doesn't matter." Like,
I'll just say he's a historian that really took apart a lot of the 1619 project in very good ways.
okay.
Which makes me then, you start to wonder about all the good work he has done. If you're so bad, I mean, I take his word for it on a lot of these things. Then you're like, you're so bad on this one. Maybe
Take a step back.
Yeah, maybe. Oops.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seemed weird. I saw the quote tweets and everything, and there was somebody else people were talking about on Facebook that like posted a screenshot of one of Dave's tweets on his Facebook talking shit, and it was the same situation. I'm like, I've never seen this person, but everybody's acting like I'm supposed to know who this is. And that happens at least once every couple months here in the Liberty space, where somebody's like, oh, haven't you talked to so and so? And I'm like, that person doesn't exist. That's not a real
Not a
name.
real person.
This is like Australia again. This is all fake. I also, Brigade Law nuked again off of YouTube. We're going to be talking about some of that drama tonight. The Keffels Kiwi Farms saga. Kiwi Farms trending on Twitter for what was like a week straight. It's been fucking my favorite part of the internet this last year. So we're going to cover some of that, and I have a bunch of links to go through here. But we're going to start with... We can either start with the Brad Palumbo video, we can go through all of the LPNH Twitter drama, or we can cover Kiwi Farms first. I'm going to leave it up to CD, you pick.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, just put it on the chick. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, right? Okay, I think we should this first bit, just because mom says that we might only get 25 minutes out of her, we should start with LPNH. Let's just get that. Let's just go there and get it out of the way. We can have fun after that.
Okay. So
Good
starting with well, I guess where would we start? Yeah, I got an idea. Let's start here. So
The tweet.
well, yes.
The
Happy
tweet.
holidays.
It's
Happy
On
holidays.
Twitter.
mm-hmm. So LPNH, Libertarian Party, New Hampshire, in the amazing marketing that they do over on Twitter that I of course love, comes out with this tweet, August 25th, 2022. Happy holidays, and we've got Meghan McCain down there in the corner, and what could be John McCain dead in a coffin. I assume that that's actually a bunch of children, because I figured they needed to hide them somewhere, and this just gives them somewhere to put them. but assuming that this is McCain, that's the situation. Now, this joke was hilarious to me. I've made a statement on Twitter about it. I was going to wait to make that statement until I was on the show, because that's typically how I try to do things, but I decided to put something up early. I basically said that this resulted in thousands of reactions online and hundreds of mentions within mainstream media, thousands of followers. I can say another 10 times why I think this tweet was good. Some people are always going to disagree in the LP, and it is what it is. But I think anybody who was trying to attack this is on the wrong side of that debate. And we're going to go through a lot of that tonight. So I figure we'll start with everybody talking about this tweet, and we can go from there. What was your guys' initial reactions? Did you expect to see a bunch of libertarians getting pissed about it?
Always.
Because I knew,
Always.
I knew, of course, that a small minority was going to get mad, but I was very taken back by some of the people I saw making comments about it. Now, I know Tyler, you just had Dave Smith on your show. If anybody has not checked that out, they should. It's one of the best episodes of a podcast I've seen Dave on. It was really good. That was one of the better conversations I've seen him had. And he talked about his opinions on it. You got the scoop, because I think you were the first person to actually get to talk to him about that. And his take was, I think, good. It's about what I thought it would be. He didn't like I don't think he cared much for the not the Happy Holidays tweet, but the first LP or the second LPNH tweet. I'm not sure which one they did first, the one that everybody got real butthurt
million,
about with the
actually.
quote unquote anti-Semitism.
6
The
million
6 million joke.
Minimum wage or you're
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that one was actually first, by the way.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I
the biggest question is like, what are the definition of these words that they're using? Because I mean, words can be used, but people need to understand satire before anything else.
I've been saying it all the time. I've been saying that forever, man. If you know, the fact is we're losing. Like, I mean, we have a whole culture that wants to put a satire fucking tag on every post on social media, but then at the same time can't recognize satire in the real world.
Well,
Like,
the problem there is you've got satire is not going to go well with a bunch of autists,
Yeah.
and then you've got the people that want to be offended about everything. So it's just the perfect storm.
it's a bad combination of events, and I think in this case, I probably agree with some of the libertarians out there who are saying, hey, like the 6 million tweet, probably not the best, but the war tweet is great. My point of view on this is that I think once I kind of step back and look at everything, I don't see why either of them is really bad. Because once I kind of read the explanations, I think I find them both kind of just funny. But I don't know. Maybe that makes me a bigot. I guess I can be another one of those Nazi Jews because I heard they're popular.
Y'all are such a special breed of fucking Heil Hitler Jews.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know?
I didn't believe it. It's like Bigfoot. You catch it on camera once in a while, but it's always like really fuzzy and off in the distance and like right in the corner in the upper left. But it's there. We know it's there. But yeah, this whole New Hampshire shit was. Honestly,
Hector, can you send me a link to that?
The people are just, they're overly professional, or it's a situation where they think that it's a state hundreds if not thousands of miles away is going to lesser 49 states because you don't live in Florida. So I thought it was great. I think that we need to see more of this. And honestly, this is why New Hampshire, because people take them seriously, because they know they're going to beat somebody over the head with their own bullshit eventually.
Yeah. Well, I went through, I found this. So this tweet has been deleted, but this is what the tweet we're referencing is. I am going to show it. This is from Stop Anti-Semitism, which is an anti-Semitic organization, I might add. As a Jew, I can say that, and they are. Those fuckers are absolutely horrid, and they attack their own people. And I've watched them do it on their own social media accounts, so I have no respect. Absolutely fucking zero.
I think there is a debate to be had about the appropriateness of like edgy tweets from an official account. I equated it to Toad, who was like all up in arms that everyone should be doing this. I'm like, he'd be an awful employee. He'd come to work every day in a crop top and complain about how, because there's a dress code type of thing. And I think you might have some of that semblance from the LP and, type of thing. I don't care. I didn't care about this. My biggest, by the way, Twitter was so much fun the last week. It was with this.
Absolutely.
Because the people that overreacted, they were so easy to just embarrass and go after. So that's what I did. I went after the people that freaked out about this more so than caring about the actual tweet. I helped run one of the LPMC accounts, and I wouldn't necessarily do that on there, but we're a little more tame. But I don't have a problem with. And by the way, that tweet is not anti-Semitic. If you really think about it, it's actually kind of the opposite.
No, it's 100% not. And I think the biggest issue. Hey, Jay Priest.
I'll mute it. My dog's
Yeah.
fucking with me.
It's all right. You're all good. I'm just gonna just mute in between when he's making noise. That way, it's not in the background. Yeah. So I went over kind of everything that I could on the back end. I pulled out what I think are the best replies to some of the tweets. The problem is there wasn't really many replies that were really notable. To the first tweet, there were tons to the McCain tweet. So we're gonna go through some of that. I was really fucking proud of the Ron Paul Institute over the last few days. The statements they made on this whole thing were fucking amazing. And I definitely want to take a look at that. But I guess we could look at the vice chair of the Libertarian Party, Joshua Smith, because I edited a clip for him over the weekend of them talking about this on his show. So we'll watch that real quick, and then we will also take a look at this little meme here that was shared, which I think explains exactly what New Hampshire did in a pretty good light. I'll put this up. Sorry everything's a little bit slower. I had everything kind of planned out, but the computer update really fucked up my notes here. But it is what it is. I apologize.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Yeah, so I think that about sums it up. That was one of the better memes I saw going around. I think that was done by, who was that done by? Well, one of the peoples. Yeah, it was funny. This whole thing has been hilarious to watch from the outset. I've just been kind of kicked back and because I've been dealing with this whole move and everything. So I've been kind of just kicked back and responding to stuff on Twitter, having fun with it. Seems like everybody was a little bit spun out on just trying to get some drama, because I think there actually hadn't been that much drama lately in the last month before this, and so I think they got an opportunity to run with something. But yeah, we'll take a look at this. This was Joshua Smith on his show.
What are you? 30?
I'm 27.
27. You're a baby. I went through the Iraq War. What are you? 30?
I'm 27.
27. Yeah, you're a baby. I went through the Iraq War. I went through 9/11. I watched this shit, and then we got to COVID, and it was like, okay, now we're gonna lock you all in your houses, and we're gonna do this shit. And I was like, no, dude, fucking absolutely not. I've watched you screw over not just our country, but every other country around the entire world, right? You have fucked them all over. I've come to realize that we are no longer the good guys.
Yeah.
And it's hardened me to a point where I don't give a shit about what New Hampshire tweets. In fact, I think they didn't go far enough. In fact, I want to challenge New Hampshire.
Oh, God.
You guys are a
Don't
bunch of
do
pussies.
that.
Go harder, dude. I'm just kidding.
Somebody's going to see that and get it over to that.
So there was that, and that was the first, I guess, response I shared to it. But I saw Clint talk about it. He put out a clip that I think we can watch. It's a minute long. That's pretty good, where he talked about on his show what his takes on it were. So we'll take a look at this one. This was a tweet from the Ron Paul Institute, and we will read this one real quick. Why is everyone so mad at Libertarian Party New Hampshire? They called out a stone cold killer. Isn't that what libertarianism is about? Pushing back. We should respect those who lustily violate non-aggression principle every day, who actually love killing people, like 10 million. That's how we win. Shane Hazel and people responded to this. I thought this was a great tweet. I saw them putting out statements about it left and right, and I thought it was all good. So I was happy to see that.
I think McAdams got the Twitter handle that day, or the Twitter control that day, and just went for it.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too, and yeah, great. You love to see it.
Did they end up walking that back though? Didn't the Ron Paul Institute end up walking that back?
Somewhat. You're right. I think you're right.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't a full blown walk back, but they walked it back a little bit. I don't remember what the exact tweet was, but they walked it back a bit.
You know who else walked back a tweet was?
It was actually a subtweet of that tweet.
Oh, go ahead.
Was it? Okay, we can go back and
Yeah.
I'll find it then. What were you saying, Tyler?
Oh, Martha Bueno, she needs attention, so she comes in hot, criticizing McCain about something because she didn't read the original, so she jumps on, and then when she finds out what the original tweet is, then she tries to walk back the first one, and in doing so, she calls her Liz Cheney, which was then about a good day's worth of trashing her for that. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, I did not actually see that, but that's fucking hilarious. If she
It's
accidentally,
hilarious. Oh my god, I can't believe you didn't see it.
I screenshot it, and then she started talking about her yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. She started talking about her OnlyFans and how great it was, and then I did when I'm like, and here I thought my kids were embarrassed of me having a podcast.
yeah. So I saw the one statement from Meghan McCain. I think it was this one.
Right.
And Donald Trump, that fucking riverboat casino
Yes.
captain, is talking shit about my father again. My father was tortured for 100 years for this fucking country, and he came back and he started 7 wars because he's a gentleman. Fuck you, Trump. I'm gonna wear my father's skin mask, and I'm gonna primary Trump from the right. Come on The View, bitch. If you're that tough, come on The View. You want an Alessandria Ocasio-Cortez? You want this shit? You wanna fuck these tits, Trump? You want to fuck these tits? No, you don't. You want to suck cock. But I won't fuck you because the only person I'll fuck is dirty. Meghan McCain and
Man, he ruined that woman's life. Okay, like, can we talk about that? Because there were people in the responses to the LPNH tweet that had no idea who libertarians were. They had no idea what libertarianism was. They just saw someone shitting on Meghan McCain, and it was just people responding with Tim Dillon. And I know that she has to have keywords blocked on all her tweets. Kind of like how with Tom Segura going after our Lord and Savior Chris Gaines, he has to like mute all of his Instagram posts and shit. I just love the idea that she has to run from Tim Dillon on the internet. But we can go through her responses, which I thought would be fun, and we'll kind of laugh at those. I start with, I think this was technically the first one I saw, so we'll do it in this order. I don't know the order of which she sent these, but...
Yeah, she really boosted the signal for this.
She was... Dude, we're going to talk about the Kiwi... We're going to talk about the Kiwi Farms drama, and the Kiwi Farms drama is almost identical to this in the sense that she could have just not said anything, and the tweet would have probably not gotten that much traction.
Right.
Like... which is fucking hilarious on its own right, but I promise anyone who is in this, who is in the horrific iron-gripped jaws of grief, with time it gets softer and less intense. That's it for tonight, but I'm just, so this was the final tweet she made. The world deserves better. Yeah, I agree, they deserve better. They don't deserve this. And I'm not referring to New Hampshire's tweet, I am referring to you. And your war criminal of a fucking father. So yeah, we'll go through some of these, how I survived the grief. Some of these are fucking hilarious because they're basically just ads for her books, which I thought was funny. This photo is the most pain I've ever had, been in physically, emotionally. Okay, can I just say, like, that's probably not the worst pain you've been in physically. Maybe emotionally, I get the statement, but that's not really how that works. It's you don't wake up, find out somebody died, and then go, "Oh, the pain," like the physical pain. It's like that's not really grief. That's a different thing. Like there's grief,
cancer.
There's grief, and then there's stubbing your toe. Those things are separated by a few things. These
She
fucking lizard
obviously has
people.
grief and grift completely mixed up. Like she doesn't understand the concepts of the words.
She mixed up the weight of grief and the weight from her weight.
It's just regular weight.
We're not gonna make a particular situation out of that one.
Oh fuck. Alright, and then I think this is another one. I'm actually sadly used to this type of thing. My public grief and pain, you said that already, becomes something comedians make YouTube videos about as comedy. I wonder who she's referring to. That's literally just a tweet about Tim Dillon. The worst part is what this does for other people in severe pain and grief. So I have a question for everybody on the stream. If you had a loved one pass away, which happens, it is what it is, do you think that seeing somebody else being made fun of would make you feel more grief? Is that how that works? Like, I guess I don't get the logic that goes into that, but God forbid anyone display it publicly, and it's documented.
No, and I'll just make my wife's dad just passed away, like within a month or so. And just the other night, she said to me, she goes, so I was doing something and I said, oh, you remind me of my mom. And she's like, oh, what if I said you remind me of my dad? And I'm like, that joke, that would kill you. I mean, it would kill him or something like that. Basically making a joke that he's already dead. And she laughs because this is what you do with people. I mean, you make jokes and, she's not suffering here because people are online. As a matter of fact, if that's the case, then get offline. It's the easy thing to do. But she was sucking the attention out of that day as much as she could.
Well, here's my whole thing about it. Like, obviously, I've lost loved ones, but one of my best friends was a Marine, fought in Iraq, came home, was not like happy with the government sending him to a war where he felt like they didn't really support the mission, and then went to Syria, died in Syria, trying to save people. And then his family was actually like, Westboro Baptist Church showed up to his funeral. So Meghan McCain can cry about LPNH sending a tweet with her picture. People actually showed up at my best friend's family's fucking funeral. Like, cry me a fucking river. I don't want to hear about your grief over a tweet. Let somebody actually show up and then say something about it.
And this wasn't the day. I mean, it was 4 years later. It's not like they showed up at the funeral.
Dude, that's what's fucking insane to me is like, yeah, this motherfucker's been in the ground for 4 years. What the fuck are we doing? Like, you're free. You're still grieving? Like, I'm sorry.
Have been memeing since it happened. This isn't new. People have been memeing this shit for 4 years since it happened.
I don't mean to be that guy, but if you're grieving and you have for 4 years and you have a personality or social media accounts, I mean, that's kind of on you. Like, it is what it is. I don't mean to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy. Like, if you're on the internet, it is what it is. Like, you're going to get shit talked about you.
Well,
suck it up, buttercup.
We just need Dave Chappelle to come out here and do his dance. Welcome to Twitter, bitch.
I mean, I'm on Twitter. I just have one of my friends say, nah, fuck lawyers, parasitic bastards. That's to me. And that's
your tweet about being a divorce lawyer was on point, though.
You know what? I didn't see that one.
That's my week's been amazing. I had Dave Smith on. Nick Gillespie retweeted the conversation. Though I swear to God, this is what happened today. I had that idea for that tweet about divorce, and I just had it in my drafts this morning. And then I saw Malice's tweet, and I'm like, oh no, you tag him in it, and I did, and then he blew it up. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, I didn't even see this. It must have happened while I was asleep.
Or high.
No, I haven't gotten high yet today.
Oh, well,
that's what I'm doing right now.
Accepted. Challenge fucking accepted.
We're getting that started now. Well, actually, wait. Okay, we're good.
What do you got going up there? These guys are smoking it up. I'm drinking. What's Josh doing?
Looking for this tweet from Michael Malice is what I'm doing.
This chat's great. Also, I don't know who this person is. The Benzo Barbie account.
I know. By the way, I had a tweet I did I don't know, last week, where it's Michael Malice and he has this giant can. It's probably bigger than this one. And I just tweeted out with he and Dave and I said, would you believe me if this was an 8-ounce can because he's so small?
I laughed out loud, man. That shit got me.
That started to pick up steam as he retweeted my other one today, and I'm like, could I get retweeted and blocked in the same day? Because it might happen. Still a chance.
That's got to be some kind of award.
Right.
All right, give me one moment, please. I'm gonna grab some real quick. You guys vamp.
Oh, okay.
He always says that like I'm supposed to know what vamp means, and I don't.
Is
I'm
that
assuming it means you're supposed to
I
talk
have no
to each
idea.
other.
Yeah, I think is that an Alaskan term or
I don't know. I
old-timey
think
term?
it's an internet thing, and I'm just not that cool. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, how have you been? I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, Tyler. No, good, doing good. Back home, and man, happy to be home. I'll tell you that. Just really happy to be home. So
Yeah, home's good.
But you're
So
good.
I just had to unplug the smoke alarm detector because right after
fucking retard.
right after blowing that out, I looked up and went, "Oh, I hadn't done a walk through the place yet," and so I hadn't removed those quite yet. That could have gotten real fun real quick in the middle of the show.
Oh my god. You're tired. You're so tired.
Shit. I'm gonna have to go bring up fucking Tyler's Twitter now to go find this. To go find that because I didn't see the divorce tweet.
Well, I see that we made sure to bring up Chris Gaines. Thanks everybody. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
the Lord and Savior.
Did CD do a podcast if we didn't bring up Chris Gaines? Yeah. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Appropriate.
Chris Gaines is the show mascot.
It's Chris Gaines. It was one time. Okay, it was one time.
That's
You
what
still
Chris
did it,
Gaines
though.
says about murder. It was one time. It was just the one. Man. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and move on down the line here. I have a separate category of the LP&H stuff that is separated into what I call the bad takes section. This is Justin Amash, Tim Pool and his surrounding people, a few others who posted Twitter statuses, things like that, talking about it. So we'll go through that. That includes the Brad Palumbo video with Hannah Cox, which was a whole bundle of retardedness that we will go through separately here. I haven't heard most of it. I heard like the first 15 seconds or so, and then I kind of quit. Because I wanted to give it a fresh watch while we went through things. But we'll see how that all works out. And then I got one last thing here. All right, we can move on. I think we're good. This was the other one that I had put to the side, which was in McCain's own words. I thought this was kind of funny. That's how I put this to the side. But this is a quote that I saw Ducey put out here. Arizona honors the life of true hero John McCain, right? But being true to our conscience, being honest with ourselves, will determine the character of our relations with others. That is concise definition of integrity. I have never laughed out loud at a quote more than I have at this, because I read this right after reading all the Meghan McCain tweets. And it was fucking funny because I'm like, well, that fucking quote backfired for you, didn't it? But yeah, so we can go ahead and we'll go through the Twitter posts and different things, and then we'll do the Brad Palumbo video after that. But
Cool.
Justin Amash, He made a statement about it. We'll take a look at this real quick. This was his tweet. I think we all kind of expected a kind of cuck response from him anyway. But this is a horrible, disgusting tweet. I already know the response will be that McCain advocated wars and military actions that are horrible and disgusting. That doesn't justify being cruel to his family and loved ones. Oh, does it really? If you want to bring people to libertarianism, show humanity. So, I have some issues with this tweet off the bat. First of all, if you already recognize, which he does in this tweet, that you know the response to the is that McCain advocated wars and military actions that are horrible and disgusting. But then in the same breath, you're saying, show humanity. It's like, well, no, we're calling out like a war criminal. That's the showing humanity part. Like, I think you've missed the forest for the trees, sir. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But it's just that kind of if Jack Murphy was a politician, he'd be Justin Amash.
Savage. I like it.
I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
I don't know. Justin, the fact that a large swath of the Libertarian Party, like, of course, Dave's probably the shoo-in, but like a large swath wants Justin to run, and I that dude is the biggest boner killer next to Bill Gates. But yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, he was doing a stupid thing today about Mises, saying, "Oh, Mises was for democracy, and therefore everyone that's against it, da 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 da." And I started to reply, but it's kind of useless because you're just kind of tweeting out in the void there, unless you're going to burn him. But it's like, okay, you can agree with Mises. It doesn't mean that. I mean, you learned a lot of stuff from him. It doesn't mean that. I mean, argue with me about democracy rather than arguing with Mises, who's not here and who I agree with on things. So he's kind of a dumb tool on a lot of things. I think he's useful. And by the way, on his tweet about LPNH, this is what I said to Dave. It's kind of like what Dave was saying, which is just, why don't these people just shut up? Just let the tweet dangle out there. Let the conservatives and the liberals all freak out about it. But the LP just needs to, like, people in there that are freaking out and just need to get out of the way. As he was saying on Clint's thing, don't do the bidding of the regime. Just maybe like let it go. Just why even have all the negative comments?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems stupid to be. It seems stupid for libertarians to be arguing with libertarians for the sake of arguing with libertarians. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, man. It was fun, and it got engagement. And listen, not only did libertarian, like the New Hampshire Twitter, grow off of this and get engagement, but like the replies and everybody else gets engagement off of it. I mean, like, we can get into like the marketing of Twitter, but I think the whole thing was a win regardless. So, I mean, I think seeing some people come out and say stupid things after the fact is just hilarious, because I kind of expect it at this point. But I do want to read JC up here. I missed it a minute ago. The chat is bumping tonight compared to most nights. What do y'all think of the LP's response, including outreach to state Twitter accounts? So, we'll talk about this a little bit. Because I am outside of the loop on that shit, I'm in a state that has no people. So, don't have to worry about outreach. Here's the thing. The Libertarian Party has a real problem with the way that social media is actually handled. This is something I've talked about. The states, in my opinion, should have full autonomy from the LNC. The problem that I see with the Libertarian Party at this point is, in a way, the LNC. And it's not the fact that I don't think we need one. It's the fact that I think the state should be doing more and the LNC should be doing less. That's my point of view. And that's almost always going to be my point of view, because I think that's how a grassroots party should always function. I don't think, like, the way that I look at state law versus federal law is the same way that I look at the LNC versus a state affiliate. So that's something I always keep in the back of my head. I know a lot of people don't look at it that way. That's how I look at it. With the LP reaching out to certain accounts and states and things like that, saying, hey, cool it on these tweets, or maybe not do this, or this is the messaging we want. I mean, yeah, they're perfectly allowed to. I mean, I don't see a problem with them saying, hey, this is what we want you to be doing. Now, that affiliate doesn't have to follow their advice, and that's just the facts. So, regardless of whether they're telling them, hey, this is the deal, I don't give a fuck in the end of the day, because they don't have to listen to it. It's just advice. And anybody who thinks it's anything other than that, isn't looking into it, because from what I understand, the LNC has no power to effectively take the ability of speech away from another affiliate. So it's like, no, it's just if they reach out on Twitter, they're being like, hey, this is how we want things messaged. Well, yeah, I want them to be saying that. They should be giving at least some guidelines to state affiliates saying, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it's somewhat decentralized. Go ahead.
LP Texas, what is this about?
That's wrong. That's not true, because we shit on them all the time. I even did an episode with the Tower Gang guys where we were playing. I would bring up a bad news story, and I'm like, okay, what would the LP Texas say about this? And it was just all the shittiest takes as you can do. So everyone makes fun of them, but
LP Texas has been consistently the most milquetoast Twitter account that I've ever seen as far as the libertarians go. New Hampshire, in my opinion, does definitely the best on Twitter. I just don't think there's anybody who comes close to it. They fucking... Whatever, people want to say about the content to what they said and everything, the results speak for themselves, in my opinion.
I'm fucking offended, and screw you guys. LP Texas definitely doesn't speak for me. If any party affiliates does any speaking for me, that would be LP Mises Texas for sure.
Well, I think in general, I just the responses to this whole thing and everything else has been kind of, I think, expected. I don't think there was anybody who had a response to this the whole New Hampshire thing as a whole that I wasn't expecting. They were all kind of what I was thinking would happen for the most part. Like I said, Justin Amash we kind of all expected what Justin was going to say. Spike Cohen reacted to it. I'm not going to go through the video because it's like an audio from a podcast he did, and it doesn't have much video to it, so it's kind of boring. But basically, Spike said he didn't like the tweet. It is what it is. I kind of expect that from him.
He can't say he likes it. He cannot say, "Oh yeah, I'm glad they did."
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of these Spike Cohens and Justin Amashes of the world have to worry about the type of people that they are involved with to a much higher degree than me or you do. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in they're marketing themselves more as somebody who can get donations rather than somebody who can build a movement.
Well,
and I think that's...
And so therefore they are 100% beholden
to
their benefactors, and their benefactors don't like that shit.
Right, and I think that's what a lot of people had an issue with the LP's response to New Hampshire's tweet, was that they felt like it was a similar situation. And I gotta say, I agree. It was the same situation. The Libertarian Party was worried about, if people don't like these tweets and publicly people talk about these tweets and you're talking about donors and people who are giving the party money, that could be a problem. At the same time, I gotta say, I know a lot of people are gonna hate that I compare the things, but the one fucking thing that early on Fuentes and the whole American First thing was doing correctly was social media. Before they got purged, they would call out anybody and fucking everybody on the political spectrum, and it got them a lot of fucking attention really fucking quick. and garnered a lot of numbers in the specific areas that they were targeting. The Libertarian Party has a real problem finding out who they're targeting. And the New Hampshire tweet showed you who you can target, because there were a bunch of people responding being like, hey, fucking this is great. Why would you have a problem with this? Right? I think if you kept that same energy and you continue to do that same thing, it'd be much better results than if you were some cucked LP account. So I think the people who are coming out against this are just going to have to show me some actual evidence as to why getting attention is a bad thing. And I've yet to see that in regards to a marketing angle from this. I understand the donors being a problem, but that's why you get new donors. Like, I don't know.
Well, look at the follower counts for both Megan McCain and LPNH right now. Like, they're both surging. I mean, Megan's gotten more followers out of this in comparison, but who cares when you look at the state? The state itself is marketing itself in a way that no other state does. Free State New Hampshire, they're pointing out all the freedoms that they have that no other state has right now.
Yep.
I would just say though, I looked at this earlier and I'm looking now again. She has under 800,000, which I mean, you know, that's a lot compared to me. But for someone who's been on The View and who her dad is, that's really shitty.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, there's podcasters I listen to on YouTube that just do podcasting on YouTube that have more followers than her.
Yeah. I'm going to say one other thing that I think might be, I don't know if it's controversial, but one of the big trolls we already mentioned tonight, Michael Malice, right? You would expect him, you know, especially what he said about Liz Cheney, but people don't know the backstory. He's been on Meghan McCain's husband's podcast, Ben Dominant, who runs the Federalist. He's friends with her, so they've gone out and he's mentioned these things. So he didn't come out, I think, behind the scenes. I've heard that he was not happy about this, but he never said one thing about it. He didn't say positive or negative, which is, once again, that's kind of my whole thing about all these cucks that are, even Amash, just shut up. Why do you have to stick your nose into complaining about it?
At least Malice has the forethought.
Friends didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, at least when Michael Malice is the fucking cooler head that prevailed, you have a fucking problem. Like, if from a cuck standpoint, if you are in the middle of typing out 120 character response to a fucking photo of a coffin, I think you have bigger fucking problems and fish to fry in your own life than a fucking Twitter post. That's my kind of take. Like, if you're seriously sitting down with a profile photo where you're wearing a suit and tie like Justin Amash, responding to a fucking meme, I think you need to get your fucking priorities straight. That's what I would say. I'd say you probably should be a better fucking politician. Because a politician that knows what they're doing wouldn't be fucking even responding to it in the fucking first place, because they have half a fucking brain in their head. For Malice to be somebody smart enough not to respond, because he knows that his audience is not going to be on his side there. They're just not. Yeah. So it's better for him to just not say anything at all, right? I would argue the majority of Amash's immediate fan base isn't going to like him saying that either, but his dumbass goes and says it anyway, which is exactly the problem, I think, with a lot of the, like, bigwig libertarian types that want to be hot shit. It's like, well, you guys don't know when to fucking shut your mouth. Like
Camille Foster of We the Fifth podcast, he was really uptight, and I think, and I like Camille, and I think the only reason, I know he didn't like the messaging, and I get it, but he is in that Washington bubble. I know he doesn't live there, but of needing to be talking to these people, right? So you don't burn that bridge. I think that's what it is. So you've got some sort of some connection. You feel a little bit nicer about it, and so you don't necessarily go toe to toe. But
if you feel comfortable being in the liberty movement while also feeling good in the company of the elites, I think you're exactly the people we need to get out of the party.
Yeah.
And that's what that has a tinge of to me. Because that's who those people are. Are you saying
you don't feel comfortable with the elites?
Oh, absolutely fucking not. Those fucking... I would argue the majority of the people in the state of Alaska would be in that boat because of the way that we like to live here. It just isn't conducive to what they fucking want. Like, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of libertarians have that fucking problem. They don't live in the real fucking world. They're sitting in these fucking cities, and they have no fucking idea what is around them. They've no clue what the world looks like. You know, I'm somebody who's tried my best at traveling around the rest of the U.S. and getting a good idea of what everyone is kind of living like. I think there's a lot of libertarians who could gain some value from doing that exact same thing. You don't need to leave the fucking country. Why don't you go figure out what other people are living like in your own fucking country? You know, you know, the guys living in Arizona in the desert are living a hell of a lot differently than I do in Alaska. But both of those groups of people are certainly living the same in comparison to people in Washington, D.C., New York, and California.
Right.
So you end up with this weird position where I think there's a lot of libertarians who just have never left the fucking city. And so they have the exact same problem that Democrats and Republicans who do that do. Where they just talk in circles, and they talk about the exact same thing over and fucking over again. Because that's all anybody around them talks about is the same shit over and fucking over again. Which, I mean, like, this is a perfect example of it, right? What I have on screen is the fucking the fence. A man who sits on a fence so hard it is touching the top of his fucking throat. Tim Pool goes out and goes, this is fucking awful. Goddamn. Yeah, here's the thing. I've watched Tim Pool for years, right? Anybody who knows about his past co-hosts, the reasons why they are no longer on the show, or the history of how Tim Pool got to where he is probably not a fan of Tim Pool's personality or the way that he runs his business. And that's my opinion on the guy. It's always been I've mentioned this, I think the third episode of this podcast. I had a whole 10-minute rant about how Tim Pool's a fucking cuck. He's a businessman who has figured out how to make money. And just like every other grifter who attaches themselves to certain movements, he has found a niche. That niche is the prepper, Civil War kind of thing that he went for. And he got enough of those people willing to give him money each month that he is insulated and can do what he wants. He has been great. He's had on people onto his show from the LP. I know Dave talked about this when he was on with you, Tyler.
I think he's might be going on tonight or tomorrow or Monday. I think.
Oh, no shit. Okay. Well,
that'll be interesting for sure.
I would like to see them have a conversation about
and
this.
part of the problem, you know, Dave, when he was on with me, I'm sorry to interrupt her, but he was talking about, you know, like Lydia, who I think is just insane in some of her comments, especially. And this is my problem with a lot of these people is they can go after, and I will too. I think Biden's, you know, crazy and his son is crazy. And so you go after them hard and that's fine. You go after everyone else, the Clintons, but suddenly this is off limits. And it's just, it blows my mind. And so
well, no,
she was
I'll take a weird approach to that too. Is like they trash Biden in a way that I'm okay with, but Biden's son, I could see making an argument that that's pretty hypocritical.
Or Chelsea.
Yes, exactly. You know,
when you tag her on Twitter and you talk about how her dad was on Epstein Island or something like that. Oh my God, you know, how's that feel for her? Okay, well, but Dave's point was, well, Lydia's the one that books them and all this. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And at some point, though, if they're, and this isn't what you make the stand on, I think you don't say, hey, this is where I'm drawing the line, and I'm not going to go on your show because you're saying these stupid tweets. But I mean, if Lydia actually thinks that this is going to keep her away from libertarianism, she wasn't really in the mode for being a libertarian in the first place.
Well, no, and I'd also argue that if she takes that general opinion almost immediately, then her, you know, she's probably not gonna get it anyway.
No.
Some people are just stupid. I mean, like, I don't mean to be that guy, but I took what she said, like, and I think I mentioned this in one of the group chats. I don't know if it's Tower Gang or another one, but I said all of her replies are just unintelligent. Like it was rambling. Like she was responding like a Twitter bot. Like that could have easily have all been typed by some like leftist with like 3,000 followers on Twitter.
But
Kinda would've been like,
that's exactly like all of the grifters. Like Brianna, I don't know if y'all have seen any of her recent tweets. And there's a
I
reason
can't. She has me blocked.
Well, number one, she joined the Forward Party. Duh. Like, she's a cardboard cutout crybaby wannabe. Like, she doesn't want freedom. She wants everybody to feel as oppressed as she is.
Yeah.
By the way, Matt
Forward
Kibbe was on
Party.
Timcast tonight.
Oh, that's who it was. I saw that. Yeah, I saw the notification on my phone when I woke up. Everyone considered Lydia the nice one, but that went out the window after those Twitter responses. Seamus said he wasn't a libertarian because he's religious and pro-life, as if there aren't lots of pro-life religious libertarians. Yeah, so here's the thing. Tim Pool's business strategy to make money with his media company operates around the idea of having permanent or semi-permanent co-hosts who he can bully. That's basically the show design. Like, when he had somebody on the show who would push back against the things he was saying, he got rid of that guy. If you look into what actually played out here, there's and there are people who he had involvement with that I plan on getting on the show eventually, because some of them are people that I still talk to from back on my other internet involvement days. So, but there are some stories from the Tim Pool timeline that are going to be interesting to tell down the road that I think a lot of libertarians probably are just unaware of, because they kind of just see him as this political figure, right? It's kind of like Sargon. I see people finding Sargon of Akkad all the time and being like, who's this guy? Or he's really cool, and being like, they have no idea that this guy's had like a 15-year-long history on the internet. And I'm like, guys, I lived through that. That was my internet involvement, was being involved with those people. So it's just a different kind of way of looking at things, I think, as far as the internet versus real world shit. I was okay with the same thing.
I could just say it instead of you putting it on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't even. Sorry, I didn't notice who even sent it.
So Seamus was on with Malice, and he basically said he's no longer libertarian. And I thought and people were kind of giving him shit for this, but I actually was okay with it, because he described why. He said, "Look, as an example, he's like, I think porn should be illegal. You should not be able to do this." And so for me, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to confuse people about what you call yourself a libertarian. That's what he said. He goes, if I called myself a libertarian, people say you're not a real libertarian. And he goes, I would have to agree. So I just don't call myself one anymore. And I'm like, that's fine. You aren't one. You that and other things, you want to push the authoritarian pedal down on everyone. So
yeah, and I could make an argument to him that, hey,
he was honest, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could make the argument to him that, hey, technically you could have a libertarian society that doesn't bans porn. You could have that and still not have a federal government. Right, but at the same time, I definitely get where he's coming from. 100%. He's being honest. I'd rather somebody say that than fucking try to lie. What really happened to Krigler? We can go over this. So Krigler was removed from Tim Pool's show after he basically got mad that Krigler was actually debating him on topics. And Tim Pool can respond in ways that he goes, well, no, it was about this thing or that thing. Anybody who knows the history of it, who saw it all play out, who's seen responses from people who were working at the show at the time, that is exactly what happened. Krigler was pushing back against some of Tim Pool's points. He didn't like it, so he removed him from the show and replaced him with Ian.
Yeah, and who is the current punching bag, which is... it's funny to watch because Ian's
a really nice guy, and he's also fucking very smart, and people don't give him credit for that shit. But here's the thing. The fact is it's exactly what it appears like. Tim knows that Ian will not only get shit on the show, but he'll get shit from the internet. And every clip Tim Pool puts up that has Ian in it debating a topic that seems off-putting or weird or an odd take, Tim knows that everybody on the internet is just going to take that and respond in the exact same way, which will be calling Ian an idiot and moving on. So it insulates Tim's bad opinions. Because if you watch his show and you break it down with a fucking ledger, you'll find that he has a lot of shit opinions and bad takes. And and the only reason he can stay quote unquote consistent is because he's the most milquetoast motherfucker I have ever seen on the internet with an opinion. It is painful to watch. Like I don't get it. Like anybody who can see the situations he hasn't covered on the show and cover the way he does, I don't get it. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. And there's obviously that's my opinion, and everybody's going to be different on that. But I think from the very beginning, it's like anybody looking from the outside can see the way that show is marketed and set up pretty easily. Like it's not difficult.
No, I don't really have a problem necessarily with all of that. Even what you said. I mean, I've seen his progression anywhere he was much more on the left, and he's taken the hard swing over. But he's in the middle there. He still does promote. I mean, Matt Kibbe being on there, I think that's great. Mm-hmm. But he does some other people that I think are just insane. Chamberlain, by the way, he's a conservative. He just drives me
fucking Will Chamberlain is retarded.
Oh, but
that was dropped on his head.
Guy. He's just
I think that dude was dropped on his head as a child.
Okay, but so some of this is fine with me, but I think he's swung over to right, and there's some of the weirdness with him. But I mean, it's what do you do? Like Dave says, you kind of like gravitate with some people that'll promote you. He's got good ends there. I think that's fine. Like with anything, be discerning with your opinions as far as who you take in, and I think it'll be fine.
I also think you're going to find a big separation between ANCAPs and minarchists on this because.
By the way, he was great on Rogan with the Twitter.
Oh yes! Oh yeah. Fuck yes! That was so glorious.
That was an excellent interview.
That was
you know the hot mic thing, right? That happened with that. You guys, anybody here know the story there? Because this would be a fun one to go into on the show.
With their mic on.
So. The end of that stream was not supposed to fucking happen. Joe gets up from the table and leaves. And the audio was still rolling. And they didn't know it until after the show was uploaded. So they went in and fixed it later. But there is like a 2-minute clip out there that is actually of audio that was happening where Joe had left the room. And he comes in at the end of the clip and goes, the audio's still on, right? But what happens before that is he comes on, covers the stuff, but he's talking to the Vijit girl, the Indian chick. Yeah, the attorney. She's I can't remember her name. For the life of me, I used to know it. But talking to her about like how they selected Twitter accounts and stuff.
Vijaya.
And she straight up, that's it, yeah. And she straight up asks him to hand over all the handles for a bunch of accounts that he wanted removed. And he says, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, he says, basically, fuck off. And that clip was not supposed to be aired. Like, so it was when I listened to that conversation and then you put in context that he, at the end of it, refused to give up those people's handles. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm okay with Tim Pool because he runs a business. And anybody who's running a business is trying to make money. I recognize that any day of the week. So whether anybody likes it or not, the media thing he runs is a business and he's trying to make money. So it's like, he's going to do whatever's best for him to do that, Hello, caress a piece of love. Oh, hey.
Hey, take that offline, guys.
No, that's somebody I used to work with, I think.
Sure. Hey, wait. And
hey.
I'm going to dip.
Starting to fade out for the night. So, yeah, I'm going to dip. I'm starting to fade out heavy for the night, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm on next episode.
Take it easy, Josh. See ya.
Night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Take it easy, brother.
Should
So
tell him to
I am
follow me
at. Josh hasn't followed you?
back. No, I don't think he did.
You motherfucker! I'm gonna text Josh after the
Let me
show.
make sure. Let
I'm
me
gonna
make sure I'm
yell at
following him
Josh.
because
I'm gonna yell at Josh.
I may not be following him because I was cleaning out my stuff the other day of people who weren't following me. I just didn't follow him back. I mean, I removed him or something. What's his last name? H. His Twitter. Let's post it.
HVLAK. Yeah.
You guys are doing a great, a great job.
Lofka.
I'm not finding him now. It's Josh for something or something, isn't it?
Josh
Like,
for
Yeah.
Florida, isn't it FL? Or is it Florida spelled out?
I don't know. Someone needs to help us out.
It's HLAVKA for Florida.
Yeah.
H. What is it?
HLAVKA.
You should have
For
been
Florida.
after the H, because I swear to God, I thought it was after the H.
I said a hip hop.
I'm not finding
Okay, well, you know
I'll find
what?
your tweet. That's okay. We can keep going on. We don't need to worry about Tyler's fucking.
I'm gonna
Twitter
yell.
accounts.
I'm still gonna yell at Tyler though, because or to yell at Josh rather. Oh shit! All right, let me switch to this layout here. See, I actually did some professionalism and set up different logo layouts and shit.
I noticed.
I've been meaning to do this shit for like ever, but I never did it, and so the stream has just continuously looked like crap. But I'm slowly getting used to it.
This is getting there.
Well, I posted a clip of some recorded audio and stuff that I did yesterday to make sure everybody knew that we were going to be going live. And TL fucking responded to it. He's like, all the text in the background of the video is backwards. And it's because at the old studio, I had it set up in a specific way. When I put everything on the wall here, I didn't flip it, so you couldn't read any of the shit behind me. Like, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag was backwards.
Awesome.
You know, it's like,
Awesome.
I also, like...
It's appropriate, honestly, for this show.
I always had a weird thing where I could, like, read, like... I can read really fucked up text. Like, I know that sounds weird, but, like, if I see a word that has shit missing, or if it's, like, or, like, backwards letters, like, words that are just, like, a whole page of text laid out backwards, I can go through it pretty quick, because I used to, like, try to practice speed reading and bullshit like that, and one of the things I would try to do was try to read backwards, which is a useless talent, but it's hilarious if you ever have like like an actual document that's backwards. It can be fun. But yeah, it was funny. I had to figure out how to flip the video on Restream.
David
So-
Brady is here. Hey, David. Aw.
Hey, David was just
I told
doing-
David to come on my show because he's evidently finishing Road to Providence podcast. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to him about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
over. Yeah, he did his last episode. He had all kind of people on.
Yeah,
He was
that
killing it.
was yeah. You're.
He
It's
didn't have Dave
interesting.
Smith, but he did pretty good. He had Ricada, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, the Ricada stream is great too. I really liked that conversation. I know I talked to David. I gave him some my advice, or at least my opinion on things. I mentioned script writing, which is something libertarians really need now, and I was like, dude, you write stuff, like just start writing stuff for other people like who have
Yeah.
channels. Like, you have a marketable skill, fucking use that shit. I wish I could fucking write. I am so goddamn bad at it. Like, if I could sit down and write a good script and I could do the pre-recorded like content, I am eventually gonna do stuff like that, but it is like I'm almost indefinitely going to pay somebody else to write shit because I am just not good at it, and I never fucking have been. I'm good with the like live on the spot stuff for the most part if somebody asks me something, you know. But
Same.
my marketable skill is Russian disinformation bot. Blat.
Make sure you put that at the top of your resume.
Dude, fuck yes. So, we can do two things here. We can jump into the Brad Palumbo video, which we still have, because I kind of forgot about it. Or we can go into the Kiwi Farms drama. The Kiwi Farms drama has a couple ins and outs, and it'll involve a little bit of story time.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I'll do a dab and listen to story time. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I read through the whole thread that you sent, which was a
you did.
lot. For the record, that was not a lot. That was a lot.
I went straight autism this last week.
So yeah, now I'm too familiar with people I don't give a fuck about. Like I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, why do I give a fuck about these people? But I understand your point, and I understand your point in bringing it up.
That's one of the best chats of the night.
That was funny. That was good. That was good.
So, I previewed a little bit of Keffels' Kiwi Farms thread, or one of the posts they made. So theoretically, we could bring that up because I don't see any pornographic content in the first few pages. But we'll go over it in this way. So there is a person named Keffels who exists on the planet, and me talking about this individual has already most likely gotten somebody watching this video in the next hour pissed off. Because this person has fucking gremlins that run around the internet doing retarded shit all day long. And it's really fucking irritating. So, Keffels has a thread on a site called Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is a blog posting forum sort of site. Think of it in the same ilk as Reddit or 4chan, except a little bit worse. Because on Kiwi Farms, you have actual legitimate freedom of speech. Not the fake stuff that they talk about everywhere else. And what I do mean by that is, unlike and David Ray. That's great. So the problem that arose is that Keffels is this trans person, used to be a guy, is now a girl, according to them. And that person has said some things on the internet, including that they give HRT and different types of puberty blockers to minors. They've stated on multiple occasions that they do this. They have been involved
Eli
with
Ehrlich.
They have been involved in a Discord server in which people would contact minors by getting their phone numbers to try to get them to obtain things like HRT and puberty blockers. This is a piece of human shit. And I know some libertarians are going to have a problem with some of my opinions on this stuff, but the trans kid shit pisses me the fuck off. And maybe that's just because of my upbringing, but if it is just because of my upbringing, great. I still have that opinion. And specifically somebody going behind parents' back, things like that. On Kiwi Farms, because it is a free speech platform, people dox people, right? They post shit that you don't post on normal forums. You're not going to see somebody posting on Kiwi Farms what you necessarily see being posted on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or your normal social media accounts, right? So Keffels has all this info put on this board about her, and she takes offense to this. And I do have to use the whole gender thing, not because I want to, really because of YouTube. I found out they'll actually fuck your shit for that, and I didn't know that was an actual thing. But yeah, they will, like, misgendering is an actual thing on YouTube. Like, they can ban you for that now.
Yeah.
Which, that's fucking hilarious to me. Fucking scary as shit, but hilarious. So, but she goes into this whole fucking diatribe and everything, and she attacks everybody on the internet. Goes after a bunch of different content creators, including Nick Rekieta. It's the reason why Nick Rekieta just got a 2-week strike. He's sitting on a second strike right now because she nuked his fucking channel out of existence, or attempted to, because she has like a bot army on Twitter, which is what most of these people do. But at the end of the day, Rekieta said she needed to go on the wall in his one stream like a week ago, and it was pretty fucking hilarious. And she took real offense to that and stirred up a bunch of whole more shit. Rekieta did nothing wrong. No, Rekieta never does anything wrong. Nick's a fucking saint. That's Pope Rekieta to you. Pope Rekieta. But no, it became a fucking ordeal because she's attacking everybody on the internet, but in particular Kiwi Farms, in the sense that Marjorie Taylor Greene and politicians start coming out and making comments about Kiwi Farms, and the only reason they're mentioning the site's existence is because she somehow got convinced that somebody from Kiwi Farms was the one that was calling the cops on her, but the information that she got was from somebody connected to Transis's. So, I mean, it's not really good information, and the entire thing is fucked. I'll go into this right here. This is I'm finding the individual, because I have the Kiwi Farms thread. The problem with that thread is a lot of that information is stuff I don't necessarily want to put on screen. So I will have to vet that pretty hard as I go along. Anybody who knows anything about Kiwi Farms will know exactly what I mean. But we can look at who Keffels is real quick. So this is Keffels. That thing. And this is the covering news and politics, and you'll see dropkiwifarms.net. So, this is a site that they have set up to try to cancel Kiwi Farms. Can you guess how she's going to cancel Kiwi Farms? Can anybody guess?
Mass flag like Bueno did me.
All of that, but also she's going to ask for money. Because that seems like the smart. So this woman, at this point, has garnered over $100,000 in donations from people on the internet who are giving her money to go after Kiwi Farms because she wants to sue them for defamation. Now, I want to reference one thing here. Kiwi Farms has been sued more than God him fucking self. Like, these people have been, like, the website is under constant attack. Joshua Moon is constantly getting into legal battles because of the content that ends up on there. But the fact is, it's protected as free speech. And at the end of the day, that's how it fucking works. It's whether you like it or not. So these people are butthurt over this shit. Keffels, Keffel's Army mass reported rackets. Yep, definitely. Holy shit. On a different stream, he said he thinks it was over 1,000 reports. Yeah, that's fucked. Yeah, but that's the kind of shit that's happening. So, it's a weird situation. Kiwi Farms is under attack. Keffels is calling for Media Flare, I think is the site, or something like that. Is the internet service provider and server host for Kiwi Farms, which is what allows them to be actually freedom of speech. Keffels attempted to go after them. They came out after Kiwi Farms went offline for a few days because of the bombardment on the ISP and everything. But after a while, they came out and said that they are sticking to their guns and that they're going to continue to host Kiwi Farms and that they're not folding. My guess is that Joshua Moon came to their office and hit them over the head with a suitcase full of money. But if that is the case, more power to them. They're sticking it out. And if they're going to be a business, it's going to let that site continue to fucking operate. That's all I give a shit about. I think Kiwi Farms is a necessary evil, and I've always kind of had that opinion to it. I don't like doxing and that shit as much as the next guy, but I know it's going to happen. And I'd rather it happen in a kind of contained area. And plus, the majority of the people who are talked about on those things are public figures who make themselves public. And if you do that, like, I consider myself to, in a way, because I have a podcast and a show, be in that same boat at this point. Like, if somebody comes out and quote unquote doxes me, it's different than if you do it to a fucking politician or something like that, obviously. But, I mean, my information's out there. Everybody knows where I work. Everybody knows what my fucking full name is. Like, I don't give a shit. So, there's no info out there people can dig into and find about me. So it's like, I'm a pretty
But that's
boring
the
guy.
weird thing about doxing, though, because I had a back and forth with libs of TikTok because they got threatened by some trans person. They're like, I'm going to send you a pipe bomb on Twitter. And, like, that's a crime. That's a terroristic threat, whatever. Like, I get that that's prosecutable. But libs of TikTok went as far as to post their profile information, which gave the city where they lived, also used tweets to dox where they worked, and then tagged Domino's, the pizza delivery service, in the tweets that they were sending.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you're doxing them. And people were arguing with me. Then some bitch tried to dox me and posted some old lady's information and phone number. So I had to file a police report and then go apologize to settle. And I'm nobody.
Yeah.
Who the fuck am I to get doxxed? But this bitch went that far.
Yeah, I've had a few figures that I talked to behind the scenes about like internet marketing and YouTube marketing. And I've talked to this before on another show I was on forever ago, and somebody just messaged me like last week being like, "You talked about this. What was this about?" So early on my involvement on the internet, one of the forums and things that I was with, I was in like a group of people, and like half of them all went on to be successful quote unquote YouTubers. So I had access for a good amount of time to people who were figuring out how YouTube works and how this fucking whole thing, like the marketing of it, the back end of it, like guys who were taking a couple hundred videos, laying them out, looking at the views, and actually figuring out what correlates between the videos, like real, like analytical type stuff. And I learned real quick that YouTube is just like, their algorithm is retarded. Like it almost doesn't know what it promotes. Like, it just grabs random shit. Like, there isn't much of a fucking metric to it. Like, you can't really game the YouTube algorithm anymore the way that it's built. Like, it's destructive to small channels, in my opinion. No.
Could be. I actually, the Seamus on Malice was talking about it, where they've tweaked it so the short videos don't get the grift or the
Right.
automation anymore. It's the big long form ones, because people were doing a really short thing. It was like clickbait, and then they're making a ton of money, so they wanted to go away from that.
Right.
It's all just sucks on the algorithm. And what's interesting too is like you can have a big follow. Josh had this. He had a big following on Twitter, and it didn't necessarily correlate to his YouTube.
Right, and that's one of the big things that people have to look out is these platforms are looking for people to get people off of that one platform and onto theirs.
Yeah.
So YouTube will always be okay with you sharing a link of YouTube, but if you post a link to YouTube on another social media account, it's throttled. Because Facebook doesn't want you leaving Facebook to YouTube. And YouTube doesn't want you leaving YouTube to Facebook. And the same is true for Twitter and Instagram and all of them. So when you have that kind of situation, you have to splinter all your uploads and kind of things. I have never been a fan of that because I'm a very simplistic person. I believe in sitting down at the computer, Googling the thing that I want to look at and looking at it. So my whole goal is like, if somebody looks up Outlawed Thoughts, right? That's why I bought the domain, was because I wanted it to be simple, outlawedthoughts.com. That's the name of the show. You can just go to that website. It'll take you right to the channel. That way I don't have to wait to get a subscriber goal to be able to get my own custom URL from YouTube. None of that bullshit. There's no other business is affiliated with that URL. That is a piece of marketing that, like, if every YouTube channel did, it would destroy their algorithmic system. If all the YouTube channels in Cohesion were going, we're going to set up our own URLs and we're going to forward those to our YouTube channels rather than using the custom URL from YouTube, the entire algorithm would have to shift. It would have to adapt to that.
So you bought Outlawed Thoughts. I just went there, and it just forwards you. It's just you have a domain forwarding, or you have a domain, but then you forward it to your YouTube channel.
Exactly. Yeah. And that way, like, if you got a business card, you got a link you're putting online, anything like that, websites don't get throttled the same way that YouTube channel links do. But also, because that links back to the YouTube channel, Facebook will allow you to share that link in the direct post rather than the comments, and it's fine. On Twitter, you still can't really do it, because Twitter looks at the whole link and actually goes to the website. So, a little bit different.
I'm gonna buy Outlawed Thoughts, THOTS.
I'm still gonna put together an Outlawed Thoughts episode that's just me interviewing a bunch of fucking internet thoughts. Like,
isn't it just called Simpcast with Chumley?
Jesus.
Have you seen Simpcast? Anybody?
Yes.
CD,
yes.
have you been on there?
Mm.
Oh, her Mike's not even on.
No, I've not been invited. No.
CD should try to get on.
That's how trashy it is. They haven't even invited you.
That would be great.
How trashy it is.
I don't think I read this one, but if you're a dude, no chick wants to fuck. Don't change gender. No dude wants to fuck you either. The thing is, this is an incorrect statement, and I'll explain why. Because the reason why, like,
dudes will fuck anything.
Dudes will fucking anything. Yes, Tyler's 100% right. So you can literally just become trans or gay and just get dick or sling dick. Like, that is the situation.
I mean, it's called the prison pocket. Like, that's what they do with it.
Oh fuck. Yeah, it's yeah. So the Keffels thing is an interesting little piece of internet drama. I think that summarizes it for the most part.
Did Nick's channels okay though, or did they get?
So he got a second. He got a second strike. Oh, Nick's doxxed. Like, he has a thread on Kiwi Farms, and he still defends Kiwi Farms. He has a thread longer than most of the other threads on Kiwi Farms, talking about his personal life, doxing him, giving out information about the guy, and even he defends the fucking site. So it's like, that's one of the things that pisses me off about it is dudes will fuck a sock now.
I know.
Have.
I never used a sock.
I just commit genocide.
Tyler's old school.
Billions of children in the shower, the toilet, something other than a sock.
Dude, if you jack off standing over the toilet, you're the most depressing human on the planet.
Dude, I'm a chef. Like, usually it's like,
it's over a plate. I could try to visit Nicocated tomorrow. Yo, yeah, I know you live like real close to there. I think that was one of the things that I remember when yeah, I've watched him for years. Nick's awesome. I didn't
even find him until Rittenhouse, and then I had a trial set that week, and it got we resolved it. So suddenly my calendar was wide open, and I just watched nothing but that Rittenhouse trial, and I just loved it. And I'm like, oh, I should do this for a living. Oh wait, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Rackets is his second hard strike on his channel. He's off for 2 weeks. Yeah.
He makes bank.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like one of the top super chatted YouTubers on the platform.
It's crazy.
It's pronounced Kalefel? Kafefel? Kafelefel.
Okay, so
I can't say that word.
I dyslexic, so whenever you first sent us that stuff, I kept reading her name as Falafel.
Falafel. I mean, I like falafel as much as the next guy, but I wouldn't turn my
That's all
dick
I
into
could
one.
get was, like, it rhymed with waffle. So.
Covfefe!
Basically.
Covfefe. I can't do a Trump impression worth shit. But that is Covfefe Farms. That's fucking great. I live in the George Floyd state, so I could just cruise over. No, you can't. You can cruise over. Just make sure you don't have a fake 20 on you, David. You don't need to lose another warrior out here in the streets. Shit. Yeah, so I guess we could go over this Brad Palumbo video as the last thing.
All right. Let's do the Brad Palumbo video. This is so, like, it's so much gay. It's hard.
Oh,
the cringe level's at 11. It's tough. This is a hard watch. Like, it should come with its own disclaimer.
So have you guys watched the video?
Yes. What you talking about, the Liz Cheney one?
Yes.
Yes, and then I tweeted a bunch of shit at him.
Right. Anybody else seen it?
Doubles. Haven't watched it.
Okay.
Right.
The other thing that I thought we might go over is that the Biden fucking V for Vendetta speech that he gave. That was pretty crazy.
Because I made an excellent YouTube short about it, and it's great. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking awesome.
This chat is very accurate. David Brady, you need to answer for your sins. You bigot.
Probably, Magoo. Maybe. There's only one way to find out, though.
Your ass will get monkeypox watching a Brad Palumbo video. Your eyes will be fine.
Okay. They make medicine for that. It's cool. It's temporary. It's not for life.
Preparation H. Something like that.
It feels good.
There's a pill for that.
Whole.
Okay, so I got this video up. You guys go ahead and vamp for a couple seconds. I'm gonna run out of this room for 2 seconds because I need to grab something. So talk about Brad Palumbo or Hannah Cox.
I should send you this tweet to share, but
do it. Send it to my Twitter, and I'll bring it up when I get back.
Okay. I have a few of them that I did on these two losers. Because I'm always got a problem. First of all, when you call yourself based, but
disgusting.
Let's see if I can do this. I'm sending them 2 different ones I had. Part of it was their tank tops that they had as well. Okay, so I guess I'm taking over this show now. All right, so yes. CD, you watched the video, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, this came to my attention because Dave got into it with them, and she's like, first of all, you watch this and you see the tweet, and the problem is they start going, oh, what's the crime? And then someone says, oh, here's the actual crime that they're talking about, and then they're complaining about the due process that wasn't. And I'm like, these are implied things, right? I even showed this to my teenage son, and he understood what it was. He's like, if you're going to put someone in prison, what does that mean in this tweet? I'm like, what is that process? He's like, well, they get arrested, they go to court, they get in, and then anyway, these 2 losers are just wanting to do their TikTok type thing and wearing their tank tops.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. Is that this is all TikTokable? That's what this is.
Right. David Brady, I did watch the video because I wanted to comment on it, and I can't comment unless I watch it. And by the way, if you, I'm sure you all know Lord of the Rings, the elves. Brad looks just like that with his ears. Have you noticed that? Anybody? Sorry.
No, but now I can't not.
If he shows the video, it's very distinct. I mean, he's a fit guy. I don't know. Have you guys watched or listened to their podcast?
I tried a few times.
I have not. I listened to her at the California LP convention because there was a meal that I was going to, and it wasn't very impressive Good for her though. She got up and talked.
I like halfway attended YAL in Orlando.
Oh,
And when
okay.
I say halfway attended, I mean I went to the hotel where the convention was, and then learned of a dress code inside the convention, which you cannot go from. I cannot go from pool to business casual easily. So I said, well, that's not going to work. But then they said it's also dry. And that's when I just said, okay, well, this is just, I'm not going to make it in that room if I cannot drink booze and enjoy.
Dude, if you put any concentrated amount of people in a fucking place in Florida with a dress code, you deserve to be on the wall next to Keffels.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, no, so then I just recruited a lot of Florida MECOG people to be like, and I was like, no, fuck that convention, fuck all that shit. Just stay here in the pool.
While I was moving.
The pool is awesome. Yeah, because we stayed at this really nice resort. It was at this really nice resort, and the pool was
the
phenomenal.
Gaylord.
So I was like, why on earth would we get up from here to go listen to Hannah Cox? Why? Why would anyone want to go do that? Like, the only people there worth listening to was like Ron Paul. That's it. And
I listened to her
Saturday night, and it
I listened to her while sitting about 5 feet away from Joe Jorgensen as she devoured her food like a hungry, rabid bobcat for an hour straight.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Jeez, that's gonna give me nightmares.
Yeah. So anyway,
I found this while I was moving. I made this forever ago.
Oh, that's
cool. It's a record.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Hannah Cox is lame. Brad Palumbo is lame.
Well, let's react to some of that lameness here.
Let's do it.
Your first mistake, Tyler, listening to women.
Oh, wow.
Fucking David Brady's based.
That's true, David, except for I do this to my wife all the time because she's pretty based. And I don't want to be single.
Amen.
But yeah, pick your women wisely.
Tyler's like, she's pretty based, and I don't want to die alone, so it's a trade-off, you know. Okay.
A lot of my good tweets are something she's just said to me, and I just put it into my voice.
Oh, did you send me that that tweet?
Yeah, I put them in your voice or in your DM there. I sent you 2 of them that I made of these people.
All right,
One.
We'll look at this first then. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Number 1. Leaked pre-show in-depth reshirts text message. B, I'm wearing salmon. Fuchsia for me. String tank top or wide tank. I'm wearing a string one, and you better not upstage me. You already have better skin. But we are wearing tanks like Senor Jose.
Okay, groomers.
Fucking dude, they have a dress code worse than Yao.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, yo, Baseball Duke Squad got you another tweet for one of your TikTok type vids rebutting the lack of specific crimes cited and due process squandered. Yeah, this was.
I mean, they're just so stupid about. And while you were away, we were just talking about this. You know, you make a tweet and you're supposed to somehow everything. I mean, it's implied, a lot of this stuff. So they're even making their breakdown was ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, we'll hop into this here, and I guess we'll just see how this goes. This is probably going to be cringe-inducing, and we might not have to do the whole thing. I mean, I don't know. I hear music.
That was me, my bad. I was gonna send you a link to a short that I made, and the audio was turned all the way up.
I did make a second YouTube channel kind of secretly that I'm gonna start uploading stuff to, but it's just like clips of other people's stuff. But it's just called Liberty Clips on YouTube now. but I'm just gonna find clips of stuff that I think's based and put it on there because
Start
people
with this
seem
video.
to views seem to get aggregated to shorts pretty well, and so I've just been making a lot of those and cranking them out. So.
Well, shit, I can't even send it, but I gotta bounce out. I gotta go cash my check before this place closes, so I can go pay for those
See ya.
tomorrow. But I appreciate the invite. It was fun for sure.
Give out your handle so people can follow you.
My main account on Twitter is jpriest806. YouTube is the same. Insta's the same. I don't really. Insta's more of like where I post my food and shit because, like I said, I'm a chef. But Road Dog Ryan, Road Dog with a W, Road Dog is my burner for now. But
Hey, I
yeah.
just know you sent me a DM. I'm sorry, I just now noticed it out here that's you.
Yeah, he
I'll
got
respond.
he got suspended or your account got limited because he was responding to Martha Bueno.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in that spaces together. So
Yeah, they'll let me onto spaces, but they won't let me send links, pictures, likes, anything like that.
What? Yeah, he doesn't even look like he's wearing a shirt. He is the shirt. He has become one with the tank top. All right. Well, we will see you later. Thanks for coming on. Oh, he's gone.
see if we could do this. I'm gonna have to bounce
reminds
too.
me of a
Yeah, we'll
related
get through as
point,
much of
but
it as
the
we can.
Libertarian Party, under new management, recently stirred up quite
Look
the
at those
tizzy
ears.
when they tweeted
You're
Liz
right.
Cheney for prison.
Dude, look at the way those AirPods are clinging to life. Fucking grasping the dear life on the edge of those two fucking heathenous cliffs on the side of his fucking head. His ears are as weird as my tits. Easily. Easily trade-offable.
I just want to point out. I mean, I'm no token to look at either. So, but I mean, he's a good-looking guy. But
In regards of the look, like scale of 1 to 10, Brad Palumbo's a fairly attractive dude. And Hannah Cox a fairly attractive chick. Regardless of that, those ears are still like Obama is a relatively attractive looking black dude. His ears are still fucking huge as shit. And we can all laugh at that. Like, dude, I remember back when when Obama was running for office in 2012. And there was just infinite cartoons in this Alaska paper here of jokes about his fucking ears. It was consistently like every Sunday newspaper with the cartoons in it would have a joke about it. Like, so Brad's ears could be cut off.
David,
Ooh, David. Ooh, God. David got rid of his show and decided to try to get mine nuked.
Love it. Love it.
Quick.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
And this was interesting to me. It sparked a lot of backlash for a few reasons. But I have a few problems with this. One, I find it a little funny that the LP is now run by anarchists who don't believe in prisons. Like, I'm not...
Okay. We're going to stop it right there. So, that's right where I watched to, was this statement, and I was like, I'm going to save this for the podcast. I think it's retarded to say that the Libertarian Party is ran by anarchists.
Right.
That's a stupid statement. I'm an ANCAP. Like, I'm an anarchist, technically. I don't run the Libertarian Party.
No one that represents us runs the Libertarian
Party. I can't think of a single LNC member who's actively making decisions for the party who is an anarchist.
I mean, maybe Angela, but I mean, if you're in the party, I mean, let's say you're an anarchist, even Josh.
I don't know her personal beliefs. I thought she was more of a minarchist, but I might be wrong.
Josh would be the closest thing to an anarchist that we have for sure.
Right. Let's say you are though, but you're participating in the party. At some point, you go like, yeah, that's what I believe, but I'm participating in this party, so I'm taking the world as it is, and I'm doing it in this manner. So therefore, we've got prison. I mean, it's whether we want
Josh,
to
yeah,
abolish
I
them or
guess
not,
that's
you've
true.
got them, right? So
Joshua Smith,
it's a
I
dumb
think.
statement. And by the way, they don't know who's in there, but yes.
Well, and we don't believe in prisons. It's like, well, that's a loaded statement because, like, no, do I believe in government prisons in the way that we have them?
The fact
Yeah,
that we
of
analyzed
course
it
not.
to this degree, though, is what's stupid. And that was
Yeah,
my point in my second one. It's like you don't get the idea. The whole idea is whether hey, maybe we wouldn't put her in prison, but you'd maybe try to prosecute her for it. Yeah.
Well, it's the whole fucking point of accusing somebody of a crime is that a fucking trial ensues afterwards. It's like otherwise it's not a crime. Like, I mean, and that's what I think was so special about Hannah's response. And Dave, I think, had to kind of respond to that. Was like, man, you have just thrown the whole ideas of like law and like the things you're trying to actually defend. You don't know about. Caroline opposes the death penalty.
It's harlots.
Karen Ann Harlos opposing the death
Harlos.
penalty. I oppose the death penalty. I'm not for the death penalty. I've said that before, and that's coming from somebody who is like, my mom's brother was shot. That guy committed suicide in prison. I still would have rather see that guy have rotted in jail because he would have still been in there today. And like, like my point of view is like that guy got the easy way out. And I know some people disagree with that, but yeah, I think it's much worse to like sit in a box than just get to like go out peacefully for the most part. Like, yeah, I think you should kind of have to deal with your accomplishments, whether they're good or bad.
But I don't even know that. Well, anyway, doesn't matter.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, anarchists could have different positions on all kinds of things. I don't know.
Well, anarchists could be for the death penalty, theoretically. I mean, you could argue that the state is not the one carrying out the penalty. Right, exactly, yeah.
Do you have an anarchist society? You're going to do. What are you going to do? Are you just going to say you owe this family a lot of money if they kill your kids? I mean, some people say yes. Maybe others say this is murder or something we're going to put you in prison for.
Yeah, I would never want to live in a society or a neighborhood or a community in which I couldn't have somebody punished for murdering somebody, right? Like,
exactly.
So, but there definitely are anarchists, like, I could see wanting a society like that, like full-blown Old West shit. Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that either, but, So it's I could see where it could be appealing to different types of anarchists, but also I could see minarchists going along with that if it was beneficial to them as well. So it's like it doesn't like it's completely toothless. Like,
I'm a classical liberal. I believe in police, law enforcement, arresting people who hurt people or rob people. But
I would argue he's not really a classical liberal, but that's it.
They don't. They are anarchists, and yet Liz Cheney for prison. How would that work in your?
Okay, that's so dumb. Because once again, there's books, Anarchy in the Law. I mean, the Tannehills have a whole thing about it. Bob Murphy's done Walter Block of how you would have law in an anarchist society. It's his definition.
Both of these books cover that in a regard. In Malice's book, he has a couple different passages in there from different writings that go over something similar to that. And then
that's
in
what
nullification.
That's what Dave was saying when he was with me. He's like, Jose could make better arguments than these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, go
ahead. That was a little funny to me, but also I find it kind of disturbing on a few levels to see them just say Liz Cheney for prison. On what charges? What crime?
So I didn't see many people, and this is the straw man kind of way that they did this video, and I think that's a whole other subject, but I didn't see many people saying Liz Cheney or Liz Cheney. I didn't see many people saying Meghan McCain for prison. Like, that wasn't a thing that I saw people saying.
That wasn't that's not the point of the tweet or anything.
Right. And so I don't get where they've gotten this from. It seems like what he has done here is he created something that could be bastardized for this YouTube video in particular.
No, maybe you're confused. It's from a tweet from LP that said Liz Cheney for prison.
Oh, no, I know that, but I guess the way that I feel like he phrased that wasn't the LP saying that, it was everybody supporting that tweet saying that. I guess that's not how I look at that.
Either way, if you're saying, some serial killer, John Wayne Gacy for prison, like, oh, hey, they're not saying what they're accusing him of. Is it shoplifting? No, dumb fuck. It's for burying people under your house.
Yeah,
Killing them.
right.
That's what do you think we're talking about? Liz Cheney because she voted against Trump? No, it's the war shit.
Yeah.
The dumbness of this is unbelievable. And look how on his face there, and she can't even look at us. She's so disgusted.
Brad's idea of anarchy is there not being an orderly line for his gangbang. I'm gonna put that one on screen, and I don't mind saying that one. That's fucking hilarious. Magoo, you should jump in here if you want. I'll send you a link.
He's my favorite.
Crimes are you saying that she has committed? I mean, this is a supposedly major political party just casually saying to lock up their political opponents.
Not for political.
Yeah, that's so disingenuous. I mean, it's the way that, and I think that's my issue. Like, and I haven't heard that part, so it makes it kind of. But I think that's completely disingenuous. You're basically just forming an argument that no one's actually making in that same way. Like, and then that's my problem with I don't know. That's fucking retarded.
Also, these two people make their living off people who identify as libertarian, and this chick got paid a lot of money by an organization to come talk to a bunch of people who identify as liberty, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck the fuck off with all that shit. I mean,
cash checks, fucking.
You're not gonna put any sort of explanation or due diligence into that. It seems just like boob bait trolling. Because I do believe politicians aren't
saying the word boob bait with Hannah Cox on screen seems kind of stupid on his part.
Above the law, and if they truly commit a crime, should be investigated and prosecuted. But there's also a very banana republic thing about locking up your political opponents.
Yeah.
And
she's
banana republic.
He wishes.
What the fucking? I mean,
political opponents. You mean like a Clinton presidency?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just sheer stupidity.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there that just straight to the wall. There's comments about maps or whatever, and we all say that. But the reality is, we would want, I believe,
a justice system,
some due process, and that's the whole idea. You wouldn't just say round them up and be done with it. It's just not going.
Well, I might say to round them up, but you're not going to do anything until you prove it. We can gas up the helicopters, but we're not going to use them until we're sure.
A lot of my friends say these kind of things, and me personally, I'm always I would rather be the John Adams, where I'm actually helping the soldier that was accused of.
And I think most libertarians are probably in the same boat as you if you actually break down the theory of it. But from an outside position, the Libertarian Party was infested by a lot of libertarians who want to justify people doing horrible shit to kids. And it became a trope in the libertarian space that libertarians were into that shit. And I am the opposite, in the sense that I'm no, actually, you're the only people that I'm okay with getting the boot. I don't know. I mean, out of everybody, if we've got to let the state bully somebody, you can just have all of the pedos. Leave us alone. You can have all the military-industrial complex you want with just the pedophiles.
Right.
But no, I get what you're saying, and obviously, like myself, if you boil down my actual opinions as an anarchist, I'm like, I don't want the state to ever have the ability to do that. Period. I think it should be done on a community basis, and I think that it works better, almost in the old west way of handling things, where you have a trial and maybe the punishments are a little steeper for people who do things like that if you can actually prove it in a trial. You know, but today most of these people get in trouble in the public eye. They don't get in trouble in the court, which is my biggest issue. Is like, if you are a predator who's out there actually online going after kids and getting photos and things like that, which those people fucking exist all over the internet. Not many of those people are actually getting caught.
Right.
And whether people think that's because the government's lack of trying or whether they think that's because it's on purpose, that's up to you to come up with your own equation. But I don't like that. Like, if we're going to be prosecuting all these fucking people for drug crimes and fucking random shit that I also don't agree with, like, I certainly can be like, hey, let's put all that resources into this other thing. You know, it's sort of like the homeless argument that Dave made, which a lot of people got butthurt about. And I was like, I mean, his take is like, I don't necessarily agree with it wholly, but it makes sense. Like, you know.
Shouldn't be thrown around lightly or as trolling. And that's why I wasn't a fan of that from the LP account.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this. You and Jack ended up having a very interesting discussion in our base politics chat on this that I'll kind of try to like bring up here because I guess I'm kind of in the middle of you guys on it, but you were saying you didn't like the rhetoric of that tweet, and I'm with.
Well, you're getting monkeypox for sure.
Right.
With you because again, I'm a criminal justice reform person. I want less people in prison as a whole, and I try to not have carceral responses to people even when I.
She's so much for reform. She's so much for criminal justice reform that she doesn't want people to actually present a case. I mean, that's basically what.
Like them or what they're doing, right? I think there's often better alternatives. That being said, Jack comes from like the older school of the Republican Party than you and I did, right? He got involved in the Republican Party in the early 2000s, back in the Bush-Cheney era, where Liz Cheney's ideology reigned supreme, which was very neocon, very war hawkish, and they really did a lot to try to kick out anybody from the party who was not with them, right? They've accused people like Ron Paul or Rand Paul who are anti-war, or at least like anti-interventionism, of being terrorists, of being terrorist sympathizers, like really gross, disgusting language, tried to push those kinds of people out of the party, and were successful at that for many, many years. And so I think there is some grave dancing going on now with Liz Cheney and that same sort of rhetoric being put back on her, where she would say that these people have committed crimes or they're terrorists. I think that's why Jack was sort of saying, yeah, like I think it said tongue-in-cheek and I'm okay with that kind of language. And I understand where he's coming from because he dealt with a lot more of that than
But it's an official party account making a statement.
So they're referring to Jack. I think they're referring to Jack Posobiec, right?
Okay. Could be. But you notice there she's very specific about what the crimes are that she's just assuming that you could, and then she goes online and says, oh, you didn't even know. I'm sorry, lady. Once again, you're not talking about anything other than warmongering. And so she knows. She fucking knows.
No, she's not retarded that much. She's aware of what she's saying.
That was her. She's the one that went online and was tweeting that name the law that you.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, I think she's aware that what she was saying there was disingenuous. I think she knew that she probably fucked up by recording this video in the first place. Like,
in that shirt.
For sure.
It's not tongue in cheek, like. And I completely agree. I have condemned Liz Cheney for calling her political opponents terrorists. I have been very critical of a lot of what she's done.
So they all know what it is about.
I don't support her pro-torture, pro-war foreign policy views, though I'm a little more moderate on those issues than a die-hard anti-war libertarian. I've been very critical of her. But
okay, I'm going to back that up for 2 seconds because that was a fucking sentence that pissed me off.
Views, though I'm a little more moderate on those issues than a die-hard anti-war libertarian.
Okay. Well, you can't be a anti-war libertarian. Not not a die-hard anti-war libertarian, you can't hold that opinion and be anti-war. Like it's non-conducive. Like I don't fucking. That's retarded. That pisses me
it's
off.
like the Biden administration talking about semi-fascist. They keep talking about that. It's like, I'm a little pregnant.
I'm a little fat. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I know people.
pro-war. Yeah.
I'm a little pro-war. I'm a little. It's like John Wayne Gacy again. I'm feeling a little murdery today. Like you know. I mean. I will send you a link, Magoo, right now on I guess Twitter. Yeah, we'll do Twitter. That works. I'm gonna hit play on this.
I've been very critical of her, but that doesn't mean that you should become what you hate. She smears people as criminals and terrorists for disagreeing with her, so let's do it too. That's like stooping to the lowest common denominator. That's not being principled. That's not leading by example. And then also, it's like, what crimes has she committed? Supporting bad policies isn't a crime, right? Like, she wasn't the commander.
These people are so stupid.
So, can I want to supporting bad policy isn't a crime because that statement is interesting to me. So, if I was a politician, okay, and I pushed forward a decision within the government for the betterment of another country or an outside entity, that would be tantamount to treason.
Yeah.
That's a crime. So, like, by definition, even under those regards, that, like, I don't see where that statement makes any fucking sense. Like, it's a Magoo.
What's up, Magoo?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
And
We're having fun.
And lady.
Oh, hey.
I am going to bail. My wife's. I'm gonna go hang out. But Magoo's in here. He's gonna take over for me. CD, great to see you, Leighton. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. And Magoo, we'll connect up again. So if anybody wants to follow me at Tyler Yonke on Twitter, check out my show. We've been doing some great things. I'm having Nick Gillespie on. That Dave thing blew up, and Nick Gillespie's coming on my show in a few weeks. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's awesome and exciting.
Yeah.
If you beat him in a debate, will you get to keep his leather jacket, or have y'all negotiated that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not going to debate him.
It's a war trophy, damn it.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Take it easy, Tyler. You're the best. Thanks.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, we'll jump right back into this, I suppose. We're on the last half here.
Commander-in-chief ordering torture, right? She didn't lead the country into the Iraq War. Dick Cheney did. You could argue, war crimes or anything like that. Just saying she supported it isn't a crime. Like, that's just her opinion. Bad opinions, wrong opinions. But, like, we don't lock people up for thought crimes. And that's not a libertarian point of view. And it's like, she's been a member of Congress. What are you saying? Her voting the wrong way is a crime? Like, seriously, I'm open. Yeah. Tell me the crime she's committed. Don't just throw this out there, because otherwise you seem like you're just trolling and like you're willing to toss all these libertarian principles out the window.
You don't get to tell other people what libertarian principles they're throwing out the window when you don't even know what the libertarian principles you claim to hold are. Like in the whole first 4 minutes of this video, this guy has proven that he has no fucking understanding of real libertarian principles and what it means to be anti-war. And then he follows it up by saying, these people can't have those opinions because they have no principles. It's like, motherfucker. Like,
is he aware that Liz Cheney doesn't even really want him to marry?
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's fucking, you're 100% sure. That's fucking, yeah, this is fucking insane. Thought crimes. Fins and Barbie's been dropping bombs in the chat today.
Leighton, I don't know what's going on. I'm not seeing any of Benzo Barbie's messages in the YouTube chat. Benzo, you got me blocked? I don't even know you.
I don't even know you.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Right.
Because neocon bad. Get her. It's just like I thought the whole thing was really emblematic of the things I think are wrong with the Libertarian Party as a direction, and why I really question the seriousness of it as an institution, as a.
I question the seriousness of the fucking clothes you're wearing.
Is Brad aware of the term hyperbole?
I don't think Brad is aware of the term libertarian. I think at this point, this is grade A retarded. Like
Movement, and why I really focus my efforts elsewhere.
Well, the messaging.
You don't
who do you think works on Kegels more? The chick on the left or the chick on the right?
They probably do it together.
Okay.
It's like like they're doing a squat set.
Is just very bad, because how do you attract people to our ideas? How do you really show that they differ from what's on the table already if you're messaging the same way that Trump does or that the Democratic Party would, right? So that's
Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his fucking face.
Absolutely right that it is a bad direction. We don't lock up people because they have bad opinions.
It's like he smelled his boyfriend because he just farted.
And then later he regretted.
Look at that. Dude, that's someone who just walked in a room into an orgy they didn't know was going on.
I'm starting to think he has a remote controlled jackrabbit and they're controlling each other's.
She's just twisting the fucking dial up.
Because go back 5 seconds. Just go back 5 seconds. Look at his face. Look at that.
They have opinions because they voted the wrong way. I mean, if that was the way we went, Ron Paul voted for some wars.
I wonder if she can hear the buzzing.
Yeah, there it is.
The country are more supported these wars.
Yay,
when we first got
Legolas.
into them,
I like
right?
that.
There were a lot of people who were misled.
My mom supported the
and
Iraq War. Now she says it was a mistake.
Your mom's gay.
There.
Right,
I mean-
WTF, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
vast majority of the country voted
Yeah,
at
he
that
is.
time. That's just ideologically where we were. It was a very fear-based, and we were being misled.
Yeah, girl, serious. We were being
Into
misled.
that kind of stance, but as a whole, that is where most people were. Now, Liz Cheney is.
So I have a
no.
question.
Oh, no.
I have a question because I had this opinion and I got a few vets to message me who were mad about this. When Iraq and Afghanistan was going on, did y'all have access to the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Right?
in college.
Right, but like you could ask Jeeves or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? You have no fucking excuse for being pro-war then. I'm fucking over it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get to go, well, I was pro-war. No, then own up to it. Be like, I was pro-war back then, now I'm not. That's how you fucking own up to that shit. I used to be kind of on the left, now I'm not. Right? Like, I'll own up to that shit.
Sure.
Fucking that statement pisses me off so much because I see people do that all the fucking time, and I'm like, fuck, just.
Supported it at that time. That's just ideologically where we were. It was a very fear-based.
Well, Brad gets a
That was
hard on for-
ideologically where we were. No, that might be ideologically where you were, but fucking own up to it. Don't prescribe that shit to other fucking people. I was at no point in time or pro fucking war. At no point in time did I go, you know what we should do today? Bomb some brown people. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and
Right.
in Brad's defense, he gets a hard on for things that are right up the center. If you know.
he's really into the.
I'm
fence
sorry.
sitting.
Am I laying it on thick?
It's like Tim Pool. Brand is a fan of fence sitting.
What's Fence's last
We were
name?
being misled into that kind of stance, but it's
Cox.
where most people were. Now, Liz Cheney is in a minority that she continues to hold those views and continues to support those kinds of policies. But again, being really, really wrong on something does not equate to.
Also, I'm
Yeah, the vast majority.
okay. The
I
vast
can't stop
majority of the
watching
country
Brad's face.
supported it. I know, it's hilarious.
It was a very fear-based.
Fear-based, and we were being misled into kind of a stance, but as a whole, that is where. So this
and
next
we were being
statement.
misled. into that kind of stance, but as a whole, that is where most people were. Now, Liz Cheney is in a minority that she continues to hold those.
So she's claiming that Liz Cheney is in the minority for holding pro-war ideals. But I would argue that the opposite of that is true. Because we're in a bunch of fucking wars still. Last I checked, we're in a bunch of fucking countries. If the country was being headed by people who are anti-war, that wouldn't be fucking happening. So the idea that the minority are people who are pro-war and war hawks is fucking absurd. Because we're involved in how many fucking countries? We have bases in how many fucking places? Like, I mean, that's absurd. That makes no sense.
Views and continues to support those kinds of policies. But again, being really, really wrong on something does not equate to deserving to be put in prison. And I think
being that wrong about something can literally mean you go to prison. Yes, that is how the law works. If I don't know something and I take an action, it doesn't absolve me of the fucking crime. That is not how the fucking law works. So, by definition, you're wrong. Like, that's just incorrect. I don't understand whether both of them sat down and went, let's just not think about what we're saying whatsoever. But that is kind of what it appears like. And if that's what they did, fuck, man. You want to talk about unprofessional. It's not a fucking tweet. It's certainly not a tweet asking to lock up fucking war criminals. Yeah, ignorance of the law is not a defense. There you go. So this is absurd. I mean, that statement makes no sense.
And even if you broke your oath of office, right? They say that she's done that. She's betrayed the Constitution. I agree. So throw her out of office.
Well, okay. Betraying your oath of office to the country could mean a hell of a lot more than throwing you out of office. And it historically has in our country. So, I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I don't understand where this newfangled idea that is all like the Libertarian Party is tweeting things that are slightly controversial and maybe even in bad taste. Let me put on my best eyebrows and my shirt where you could draw nipples on it, and let me go straight to the internet and start making odd faces as though I'm getting rectally. Well, I'll stop there.
I just realized I forgot to fucking send Kareem a fucking link. I am an asshole.
No, that's why Kareem wasn't here.
It's fucking Facebook, because he's on fucking Facebook, and I gotta send him a link on Facebook and not Twitter or Discord, and so it's an extra step. And so, I fucking forgot. I'm an idiot. Well, I'm sending you one now on Facebook,
Kareem,
so you can get in here.
I have to tap out. I have to go.
Okay. So you guys can swap out, and I just sent you one, Kareem. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just hopped on for a minute.
Yeah.
I live down here. I live down here in the South, and college football's starting tomorrow, and I got to go get drunk to go hoot and holler for my dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. Yeah. We can, if you want to finish it out, we can finish it out. I'm just gonna hit play and run it. I'll just listen to the end of it and then react to it.
Do it.
Or in jail. Those are two very different things.
They just did, right? So I think that's
yes.
And it's kind of like when people want to use the government to intervene in the free market when things aren't going their way. It's sort of similar to that. It's like let the system work. Step back for a minute, take a breath, give it. It might take a
I just hear Leighton torching the shit out
I just hear Leighton's sword.
Hell yeah.
Right. Okay. So what crimes? You think Fauci needs an investigation? He needs to be in jail. What crimes, Hannah? I mean, like, what would be the actual crime that you would charge him with?
That he
versus
thought lockdowns was a good idea.
Yeah, I know.
More thought crime. Get it, get it, get it, get it all. Don't leave it. There you go. Oh man.
Yeah. But no, that video was one of the most retarded libertarian quote unquote takes I've seen floating around, and I watched like I said, 15 minutes of it. And she
It's the
sounds
most-
based
it's-
finally. 15.
It's
Yeah.
It's the most retarded take you've heard until their next video.
Which will be reacting to everybody else reacting to their take on their reacting of the take.
But wait,
Did you guys hear this gay bashing asshole aspiring midwit? Yep.
Oh fucking shit! You know what? We need libertarian boxing clubs.
have you? No. Nope. I'm gonna put the kibosh on that right here, right now.
Dude, we need libertarians to stop being pussies, and we need to just meet up at all these events and beat the fuck out of each other. It'd be fun.
We talk about beat the fuck.
That's the fun part, CD. The fact that they don't know how is the fun part.
I agree.
They don't know how to be in the same room with people.
They don't need to be in the same room. They can be outside getting hit in the face. That's the point.
Yeah. I agree. Libertarians have far too many teeth. I think if we started making us look like hockey players, we might get our message across.
Think about it. We all complain about how fat libertarians are. I know this as well as the next guy. I'm one of them. So this is logical. We get to punch each other in the face, knock out a few teeth, and get skinnier at the same time. We just make a touring circuit of libertarians beating the fuck out of each other.
Yeah, the whistling sounds as they try to pronounce Austrian economics at all the S's is going to be hilarious.
It's fucking great. All right, well, I bring back dueling. Yeah, fuck yes. Dude, I don't want dueling. I'd rather have 6-gun, like, duel at high noon over the black powder pistols.
Oh, shit, an Alec Baldwin off?
Dude, yes, for real. Dude, that fucking edit that I did, no one appreciated that one enough. The one that I did of the Buster Scruggs, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, where he shoots the guy's fingers off in the beginning scene, I just edited, I put Alec Baldwin's face over top of that. And it's just him explain. You know what? 1 second. Because I think I have this, and if I do, I'll play it. I do. I'm going to play this.
I gotta go. I will see you.
Okay.
I'll see you soon. I'll talk to you later.
Everybody go follow CD.
Yeah, go
Peace.
follow me. All right, bye.
I'm going to play this real quick, and it's going to play over top of us, so just because it's like a minute.
To be on the left, but in the mirror it'd be on the right. Of course, we is both facing the same way, and the gun is upside down, so best not to play it too fancy.
What does
That was like, when I saw the Baldwin thing when that news story broke, that was the first fucking thing I thought of, was that scene. I was like, all right.
Charges yet, or is that like?
So that's actually interesting. The FBI report came out, and that was the most damning thing recently. The FBI report proved that he pulled the trigger. They took apart the gun, tested it. They actually tested it to the point of failure. So they put that gun through the ringer. And yeah, it came that there was no way for that gun to have fired a round without him actuating the trigger. Whether or not he's going to get charged, I don't think he's going to get any charges. It seems like the sheriff's office has been pretty well cucked by the rest of the feds and people involved in the case. And I think what we'll ultimately see happen is nothing except a bunch of lawsuits. He's going to get sued into the fucking ground and then some. Because he's also gone out and defamed people after the fact, claiming that they committed the crime when they didn't, and the FBI report proves that, so you can go into court and use those things to claim to claim damages. I could see. I mean, his career is done from a money standpoint. He might still be able to do content, but he's not going to be the rich Alec Baldwin that he was before.
Well, shit. I wonder who they're going to get to play Trump on SNL in 2024. Poor
Yeah,
bastard.
no shit. Yeah, exactly. They literally did shit Brandon Herrera did 2 weeks after he shot her. Yeah, and that is 100% true. The findings the FBI found were exactly the same as his. He went and found the exact Uberti, style handgun, ran through the test, same result. So, all right. Well, I think we're gonna head out here. thanks for popping in at the end and reacted to a little bit of that horse shit. And this has been a long one. Comeback episode. We'll be back next. Actually, we'll be back Monday. This was more of a weird date because I had to move and everything. So, all right.